Good morning. I'm a lay minister here in Verwood, and this is my thought for today. For Christians, we are now entering into the most holy week of the year, the week building up to Easter Sunday next weekend. It starts today, and we call this Sunday Palm Sunday. It is called this because the week before Jesus was crucified, he entered Jerusalem riding on a donkey. He was welcomed by many people who were waving palm branches and laying some of them down in front of him as a sign of that welcome. Jesus' return to Jerusalem fulfilled a prophecy that had been made by a prophet called Zechariah some 500 years earlier, when he wrote, "Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion. Shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." And there was great rejoicing by the crowd that had gathered to welcome him to their city. Jesus' reputation had preceded him, because many of that crowd had actually witnessed, just a couple of days before, Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. And they were certain that Jesus was their awaited Messiah. They wanted to give him the praise that he so deserved. But there were many who were against him as well, principally the Jewish priests and leaders. They were alarmed at what Jesus was doing, and they had seen that many Jewish people were going over to Jesus and believing in him, exactly what they did not want. So they set in motion plans to get Jesus arrested and eventually killed. As a result, there were two large groups of people with contrary views about Jesus in Jerusalem at that time. The authorities there were on knife edge because of that. Not only that, they were preparing for a major Jewish festival called Passover that was going to take place a few days later. Jewish men from all around the area were required to travel there for that festival. Jerusalem was therefore a melting pot full of people, and into that melting pot Jesus rode. There was great symbolism with that entry. Palms were considered as signs of peace and victory. And that was just what many people wanted in those days, as they were living under Roman rule. Another symbol is the donkey. In those days, evil leaders bent on hostility would ride on a large horse, but on the other hand, kings meaning well and peace would ride on donkeys to indicate their gentle intentions. Many Christians throughout the world celebrate this Sunday by visiting churches and reenacting Jesus' entrance scene by way of a procession. Jesus knew what he was facing when he entered Jerusalem for the last time. He knew that he would face arrest, a highly unjust trial, and then crucifixion. He knew that he had to go through with that. That was his mission, to live a sinner's life and die that painful death, so that not only would he be resurrected 3 days later, but that we who believe in him and accept his sacrifice would receive eternal life. Easter to Christians is a very holy time, and we are grateful that we can in this country celebrate what Jesus did for us in peace and safety and wave those palms. But we have to be aware that for many in our world that is just not an option, as there are those who are very hostile to Jesus and his followers today, just as it was some 2,000 years ago in the Holy Land. I hope that you have time over Easter to think about those events that took place all those years ago, but which affect us today significantly. Thank you for listening.